Today we're going to do Chapter 4, Lesson 2. It's going to look very much like what we did yesterday, except we're going to have subtraction equations instead of addition equations. We're always looking to see what kind of a problem we have. Same as yesterday, we're going to get the variable alone. We're going to do that by looking to see what's happening to the variable and doing the opposite operation, which a fancy word for opposite operation is inverse operation. Because we know today we're focusing on subtraction equations, let's talk about what the opposite of subtraction is. Addition. Remembering that whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do the same thing to the other side of the equal sign. And we're going to talk about some checks. Okay? So taking a look, remembering our questions that help guide us, remembering what your teachers from last year taught you about splitting at the equal sign into two halves of the problem. What's the variable? In this case, it's y. Is it alone, meaning looking at this side of the equal sign, is the y by itself? It is not. Why not? It's being subtracted by 3, and the opposite of subtract 3 is add 3. So we're going to add 3 to both sides, and there's my t, if you used your t from last year. Okay? Negative 3 and positive 3 make 0, so that just goes away. We bring down what's left, which is y, and 4 plus 3 is 7. I'm going to do another one before I show you the check. Remind you of the check, because I know some kids had a good recollection of that from last year. All right, so let's split at the equal sign. Notice that my x, my variable, is on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. It's okay, because we're always focusing on what's the variable, x. Is it alone? It is not. It's being subtracted by 8. And the opposite of subtract 8 is to add 8. So if we add 8 here, we have to add 8 to the other side of that equal sign, and there's the t. Negative 8 and positive 8 make 0, so the only thing to bring down here is the x. And make sure you type this into your calculator, negative 9 plus 8, because you want to double check that you are calculating correctly. X equals negative 1. Now, I am going to show the check on this one. All right, just so you're reminded. Last year, you had 3 steps to a check. Step 1 was to copy the problem, so negative 9 equals x minus 8. Step 2 was to rewrite the problem exactly as is, except instead of x, you're going to write what you got, which was negative 1. All right. And then I really, really, really encourage you to take the time to type this into your calculator, exactly what you see. You see negative 1 minus 8. I really want you to type that in to show that you get negative 9. And when both sides are the same, that means you did it right. Yay! Not sure that face looks happy, but it's okay. All right, so pause the video and try the next one, and then turn the video back on to check to see that you agree with me. Split at the equal sign. The r is not alone. It's being subtracted by 4, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides of the equal sign. These make 0, so r equals, make sure to type into your calculator, negative 2 plus 4. That gives me r equals 2. I'm going to check that. Okay. Step 1, I'm going to rewrite r minus 4 equals -2. Step 2, instead of r, I'm going to write 2. 2 minus 4 equals -2. Step 3, I am going to type into my calculator exactly what I see here, 2 minus 4, and -2 equals -2. Okay? If you didn't get what I got, you can use your eraser and fix it now. You can always pause the video at any time. And number 4, next page, we go into word problems. Now that we know how to solve subtraction equations, let's talk about some word problems. We're going to circle our numbers as we read through the first time. A pair of shoes cost $25. I think I'm going to zoom in on this a little. The cost of the shoes is $14 less than the cost of a pair of jeans. Find the cost of the jeans. So we have circled our numbers, and our next step is to underline our question. The question is usually after the words find, how many, or how much, and that leads us directly to our let statement. So we're going to let, I don't like to use S, so I'm going to let C equal the cost of jeans. And now I'm down to B, which is to box in my key math words. A pair of shoes costs $25. The cost of the shoes is, that's my equal sign, $14 less than. If something is less than, we're going to subtract, and you know this lesson's about subtraction. It's less than the cost of the pair of jeans. Now, less than is a tricky one because if you look on the wall, the less than's in a separate box under subtraction because it's what I call an order switcher. It says 14 less than jeans, and so I'm thinking 14 minus C. But because 14 is less, 14 comes last in the problem. It's less than the jeans. The jeans are more, bigger numbers come first in subtraction, and this is going to equal 25. Little tip when you're using Cami, if you zoom in on it, it makes it a little easier to write on, and then you can zoom out and it still holds its neatness. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to solve it. Split. J's, oops, this should be a C. I wrote J for jeans, it should be a C, sorry. Okay. C is not alone, it's being subtracted by 14. The opposite of subtract 14 is to add 14. Negative 14 and positive 14 make 0. We don't write that, so C equals $39. So I'm actually going to write the jeans cost $39. And remember, the dollar sign goes in front of it even though we say it after it. So be careful there. Okay? Then I can make it smaller and scroll up. Just giving you little tips for Cami, especially in math. Let's talk about cubs here. This is a lot of words, so we really want to eliminate a lot of these words and only focus on our numbers, our question, and our keywords. Okay? Fred bought a box of wooden popsicle sticks so that he could make a jewelry box for his mom. Okay, I need to tell you that nothing in that sentence is going to help us solve the problem. So I'm going to cross it off because I'm never going to read it again. He used 58 popsicle sticks to make the jewelry box. Fred has 34 popsicle sticks left. How many popsicle sticks did Fred have to begin with? Okay, so I have circled my numbers. Now I'm going to underline my question, which is usually after find how many or how much, how many popsicle sticks. That leads to my let statement. Let P equal number of popsicle sticks. Okay. And now we're going to box in our key words. I'm not going to read that first sentence again. Phew, got that out of the way. He used 58 popsicle sticks to make the jewelry box. No keywords there. Fred has 34 popsicle sticks left. He has that many left. So he had some, and he used 58. Maybe used could be one of our key words. So he's going to subtract 58, and he has 34 left. This one is a tiny bit trickier because my keywords weren't obvious, but if you kind of picture having to do this, you know you started with a bunch, and then you used some, so you took those out. We're going to split. Opposite of subtract 58 is add 58. Okay, negative 58 and positive 58 make 0. So P equals, both of these are positive. That's 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 92. And so we do need to answer the question, Fred. Fred started with 92 popsicle sticks. Might have spelled popsicle wrong. Oh well. I'm not grading you on spelling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are your notes. You could now go to do 4.2.